Okay, so now we are on to Wasteland. As always, we come up in the rest area and then jump off into this tornado. Whirlpool that pulls us down into Wasteland proper. They've renamed this area Golden Wasteland, and I'm not sure why because it's green. But, you know, whatever. Okay, the entrance here is a little bit rough. I'm sure they'll smooth that out as time goes on before the launch. There is a star directly above us on these, and I'm too close to the, but it's directly above on the pillars. It's very dark in this level, and I don't think that's improved. TGC seems to have had a difficult time balancing contrast and brightness in the game. This area right now, the whole wasteland, is very, very dark, and it has nothing to do with your brightness settings. There's no really improving it. So here's our first child of light, star child. That hint down there is just needs to go. I already see the count. Our first emote. This guy moved. He used to always be in the same place, and then one update they decided to make him a quest, and his candles are still in the normal place, so you're like, well, where is he? Oh, he's just down the way a bit. This is the falling down or dead. The emote looks like the emote sequence looks like he's dying, or the emote scene was like he's dying, but one of the upgrades is sleeping. I use it the same way I'd use a face plant in Journey. Sometimes it's just like, I don't have that emote. I don't have candles. Can't do whatever it is you want me to do. Sorry. See, those are the candles that used to light him. He was one of the last remaining old form emotes, where you just lit the candles at his stone and he started his emote scene. Now he has a quest just like all the others. There is one emote in this area that is bugged, and I'm not sure if I collected it. We'll see. But I just, at one playthrough, I just ended up, suddenly she's there. And I'm like, okay, I didn't do anything. So anyway, this guy is off. I'm once again having trouble with disconnecting, freezing game on emote collection. Whether they've actually fixed that in this update, today's update or not, I don't know. I've seen somebody else comment that they had problems when doing an emote, not when collecting an emote. So maybe that was the bug they thought they fixed. This is the next emote, and this is a hiding, scared. There's crabs here, just like we saw in Forest, and they are mean. Somebody's already burned all this dark stuff, which is nice. I can just collect the light, but look at that. That just flipped me. This scene's a little bit buggy because it didn't actually show it. It cut it all off. They've had some difficulty over time with that too. Cutting off ancestor spirit heads. And the cuts are again fixing disconnects when I finish an emote. So that was 1 star, and I realized I forgot this one. So I'm going to cut out my going through and coming back, and we're just going to pretend we turned around right here and took flight. It's on in the building above, a building we were just in with the emote. So if you turn around after, right where we were, if you turn around, you'll see it. And so back to our exiting this area. Next area is where things get a bit more interesting. If you remember the progression of journey. Oops, for some reason, always. You go into a dark place and things happen. Here's our first emote, and we're skipping him right now. We're going to go find the star first. So it wasn't really fair there. I didn't show you that scary creature comes out. But we'll find him. We'll see him. The easiest way to get this star is just to go directly over here. Because the mean guy over there is busy. And here's another one hiding. Again, as always, these star locations are subject to change without notice. I think by now I was a little bit less interested in doing a full walkthrough as just showing emotes and star locations. So I've kind of messed around here in ways. Cannot get through that gate. That one, that was the vault. The next level constellation it was showing. So anyway, I think I'm just trying to get through showing stars and emotes, and not so much walk through the game as you would experience it as a new player. I think I'm going to do that when the game actually goes live and I'm playing on a fresh new account with nobody. So here is a bit of a cheat. And I don't know if TGC even realizes this is here. It's very obvious in the other area, but in this area, not so obvious. You can't get through that main gate. But there is another tunnel above it. And that's where we just entered. And that does not have a constellation gate on it. And these are both pipes. And this comes out here above the other one. So the one below this, directly below this, is the one you'd normally use. And it just comes out above the other. So the first star is located to the right here in a little cubby hole kind of thing. He's easier to get to from that entrance because you're higher. He can be challenging to see, and if you try to get to him from below, it's almost impossible because you can't see a thing. This is where the darkness is very, very bad. There's no contrast. You just see black. So this was the way to get him the easiest. And now you will see the meanie, one of the meanies. And this was kind of funny. This guy used to be frozen in place. He's part of the emote cutscene. But one day they decided to wake him up, and he's been awake since. And so I've not yet been caught by him unintentionally. I've been caught by him a few times intentionally. But you can see him flying around over there. Very similar to the War Machines in Journey. If you get into his light, he will see you. And unlike earlier versions of him, these guys are much smarter. You cannot elude them the way you could elude them before. They fly at you rather than diving, and they're a bit more challenging. I've not come in here. It used to be fun to come in here with freshly from the end of the game when you're starting over and have nothing to lose. You can't do that anymore because you do die with no reward if you lose all of your light, and your light is your stars. So if you lose all of your stars, you will basically reset to home and have to start over. So you die. I mean, as much as you die in any video game. So you can't just go play with them like you used to be able to. And unlike in earlier versions, losing your stars also loses your cape wedges. So it's much harder to just go play with them unless you're willing to just lose everything. And here's our emote. He's kind of out in the open in that krill's. The dark creatures are called krill by the community. That's a community name for them. They're called dark creatures in the documentation and stuff. Sometimes they're called krill by TGC as well. It's just been a very widely adopted name for them. You do have to be careful here because this is his path, and I got lucky. I was never really got in danger. You can hear him. He sounds pretty ominous. And here's the thing there's the little scenes which play, and this is a guy, you can see the guy going out in the boat, and his boat is obviously crashed on a rock over there. And then this guy is where the krill used to feature in. This is where you see the guy on the boat going out to where the krill used to be frozen in place, but now he's moving around. So obviously there was some danger. These people were in trouble. And then here's the end of the emote. There is a star directly underneath us. And there are also crabs down there. There's a lot of crabs. So you got crabs and krill. The krill will take your stars. The crabs might take your stars if you get hit by them. The crabs only take your stars if you lose your light. Like go dark, like lose all your flame. So there's losing light and there's losing stars. Losing stars loses your cape power. Once you lose all your cape power, you die. Losing light is just your flame going out. And so if your flame goes out, it's because they hit you enough, your flame goes out, then you will lose stars. Or lose stars, yeah. And here's our next child of light. Again, still having a lot of trouble with disconnections. And so now he's hard to see, so I'm just kind of taking a guess that I'm okay to leave. So I didn't have any trouble with him this time. I've not had trouble with this guy. I've had trouble with the others. So one of those is waiting for you in that first area we came through. He's waiting for he comes into there. And then there's a whole bunch elsewhere that we'll find. All kinds of dark plant in this section, this area. This is, like I said, Golden Wasteland. This is referred to as the shipwreck or shipyard or Shipwreck really is what it's called. Just an easy way to identify the area. So just collecting dark stuff, candle wax. Sometimes easier to do in groups because there's more people to burn it. Same with candles. It used to be thought that you got more of it when you were in a group, but I don't think that's true. It just feels faster and it's more fun to do with a group. I don't travel with groups as much as I used to, other than my own alternates, which really doesn't count. And like I said, I do the multiple accounts for a reason. I've started all the new accounts for a reason. Now they're just there to collect stuff. And as doing the wiki and stuff, it might be a little easier to have multiple accounts because then I can accumulate more information quicker. Because I can do different things with different characters. I can go for the prairie map on one character and the vault map on another character without having to have one character do everything. So it can be useful for that reason. I'm not going to bother with that really. Now I just do it just to... Mostly I'm doing this so that I have enough people to get me into the final level, which requires 5 people to get into. Sadly, I only have 4 because Mac OS isn't working still. Obviously, when the launch has been set for July, but Mac OS is not part of that. Mac OS is definitely still in beta. While they started the Mac OS beta in November, now here's the Constellation Gate saying you needed 2. This one says you needed 2. The other one says you needed 1 from Vault. The Mac OS beta started, I think, in September or November, and then was kind of put aside. They sometimes didn't even update it, and so you couldn't play with others. You could play the Mac version still, but you couldn't play with anybody but other Mac players, which left it pretty barren. Now they're updating it, but they're updating it with iOS updates. So it's like you're just staying in line with the iOS. So they're not addressing anything that's Mac specific. And right now, I don't know of anybody who can play the Mac version. I know me and a lot of other people are crashing as soon as we try to do anything. You can get to Isle and then you crash when you get to the first Star Child. So it's definitely not ready to go. There's a bunch of problems with it. There's shot problems. And then there's just the crashing problem. It's great to play on Mac, though. It's nice to play on the bigger screen with a controller. Okay, so now we're in the other side of the area we entered, where I said we were bypassing something. This is the really big krill infested area called the Krill Swamp. I call it the lower Krill Swamp as opposed to the upper Krill Swamp where we entered before. So there's one star, here's another star, which is going to be hidden from you if you're coming from the other direction. He used to be on top of this structure. Now he's hidden here and in view of a krill if you're not careful. And now right below here is an emote that I just fell into. You can see her right there. And then suddenly she's here. So I'm not sure if there's a sequence or not for her. She has my black cape, which I sadly lost on the reset. She is a stance. She is a standing posture, a crouch, or a sneak. People call this the sneak stance. She has black cape and cool hair. And she has often made you stand there in a krill path. So, yeah, you gotta be careful with her. So now there is one more star, because we got one star before we turned around and went through that pipe. 2, 3 we just got. And then there's a fourth one that is rather difficult to do. Now, I used to get this one by warping to myself, going down, warping. I can't do that anymore because I don't have warp with myself anymore since the reset. So we're going to go down there. It seems like this was easier to do in this, so maybe the krill have a slightly wider path now. I'm looking for them and not seeing them, which is bugging me. The star is down in that tube. You can see a little tube down. Not you can't see it right now. I'm just looking. There he is. His light has changed too. He doesn't have as big a circle of light down there. I'm sure he can see just as well, though. We're not going to test him. So now we're going to jump down, and we should be safe. There's the star. Star child. It's like flower children, but they're stars. And like I said, you don't have to wait for everybody to collect it. You just have to hope everybody's tapped the thing, and then you can go and hide. So this is a little structure you can find some hiding places in. This structure is like a little labyrinth. There's all kinds of layers and levels and places. So now I'm going back. I'm going backwards now. I'm going back to where we came in, because this is sort of I guess you could call it a cheat. But it gets rid of the krill from the upper area and makes getting that emote a lot easier. I imagine TGC hasn't fixed this yet. If they intend to, but right now they haven't. The trigger for the krill up in this area is as you enter from the first area of Wasteland. This is the upper krill swamp we're going to. That upper krill swamp is where the first krill comes and he attacks a manta. That's his first thing. While he's doing that, he's focused on the manta. Then he will focus on you. So, but his trigger is in that pathway up to where we saw the emote. There's no trigger on this side. So you're not going to trigger him. We were entering backwards. And so, like I said, it's a little bit of I'm not doing anything. I'm just entering from the wrong side, and so not triggering the krill. And if TGC wants to put a trigger on that side, they can put a trigger on that side. Okay, so here he is. So here's the emote. Now, obviously, if you came in the normal way, the linear way, you'd have the krill running around here. Of course, this is not foolproof. If somebody enters the area and connects with me, he'll bring the krill with him. That you see a constellation get on that side, that is empty. That was a seasonal and should be gone. Should not be there. I'm still running through just to make sure I get through. I have been interrupted and had the krill suddenly appear because somebody came in and connected with me and hit the trigger. So and he's moved. He used to be over there, and now he's over here. So that's just one way to get rid of the krill up here and make this a little easier on yourself. It's not impossible to do with the krill there. It is not. There's enough hiding places that you can do it. I just didn't show it here. Like I said, I got a little weary of doing this, so I'm just like showing emotes and showing stars. I had actually done a walkthrough like 3 days before the reset was announced, and I'm like, well, why bother now? Because it was before the reset was announced, and it was also while I was doing it, I was told they were moving everything, and I'm like, oh crud, I'm just not even going to bother then, because I figured they were going to move emotes, move stars, move everything. I was going to say, never mind, I'm not even going to bother. So here I'm mostly just kind of seeing if things are still where I think they are. And so far they have been. Everything has been, all emotes are in the same place. Slightly moved. But not terribly moved. And I'm just clearing my emote map of the red blinking lights. So now We'll go back through. And like, oh crud, there's a krill right there. Let's not. They used to not, they can see you above. They have pretty good eyesight. They can possibly see you above if you're above them. And like I said, they charge at you now. They don't charge down like they used to. And they take your stars, meanies. They used to be a lot more fun to play with. Getting used to flying. I'm so used to flying on a Mac with a controller. Here's our little structure again. There's actually a tunnel over the way we were just looking. There's a tunnel over there that goes to that shipwreck. Also requires has a constellation gate that requires the emotes from Vault, as far as I know. I do kind of wonder what it would be like to play this game brand new at this point, so close to launch. I don't regret being part of the beta because I've seen so much change in so many different things and met some really great people. But I will never get to play this game fresh ever. My first memories of Sky are of a completely different game. I was looking back at some things today going, wow, it was such a different thing. But it is interesting that one of I journal, and one of my journal entries was complaining about the flight controls. This is back a year ago. So flight has always been an issue. Okay, so into the final area. Looking for an emote. I have one emote to find. Those are the ones we found so far. When you're in the lead, everybody who is connected to you by hand will do the emote you are performing. If you're not in the lead, you can perform your own emote, but nobody's going to see you do it. You'll see yourself do it, but nobody else will see you do it. But this is one way. I used to, and people do this, you know, if somebody with you doesn't have an emote, you can take their hand so that you're leading and then do the emote, and then they'll do it. And so they get to do the emote even though they're not controlling it. It's one way to share an emote experience with somebody else for an emote they don't have yet. I was starting to go that way, and then I'm like, oh yeah, emote over here. There's stars up above, but we're going to go that way in the emote quest, so we're just going to go get the emote. Again, this is another one that used to just be so long and frustrating when it was carrying the flame quest. Thank goodness they've simplified these. Here he is. They added all of this. This didn't all used to be here. They added all this when it was that carrying the flame quest so that you could climb it walking. Now, of course, you can fly around to everything, so this really isn't necessary at this point. But all that did not used to be there because there was no quest like this. This was this lookout was just on the side where the star is. We'll see it that's where the lookout. This is the lookout emote. Lookout as in looking around, looking out, a lookout point, a person who looks out, watching for enemies. Nice and easy to get to him now. So here's where he used to be. There used to be a stone here. And you lit candles and activated him, but now he's a star boy. And then the salute emote used to be over yonder somewhere. Of course, that's moved to the shipwreck. So there's one emote and another star. And the other star is close to the exit. Now, I've never experienced it either way. But you can get caught in here with the krill, because if somebody activates this gate, you're getting caught in a cutscene. But I've never experienced it. So just be aware of that you could get caught unawares here while you're doing something else. The one time I've gotten caught I actually tried to do it myself. I activated the gate with one character while the other character was in the yard, and while the gate activated, I never saw a result of it. So here's the star, and it's going to come up here in a second, and I'll tell you what happens. So people have experienced getting caught and getting hit by krill here, though. Oof. So here's where you activate the gate, and so you might want to just make sure there's nobody else in the area before you do this. Nobody else that's not in your party before you do this. So I'm chirping to see if there's any people. I didn't see anybody. Because once I activate this, it activates for the whole area, as does this cutscene. And I think I'm going to wait for it. Yeah. Okay, good. This cutscene activates, and so the krill come, and the krill then inhabit the area. And so if there's somebody out here, they're going to get potentially caught by the krill with nowhere to hide. There's nowhere to hide here because it's not designed to be active krill in it while you're actually going through it. But like I said, the one time I actually had a character out there, I didn't see the krill while my character who had activated the scene did. I didn't get caught in the cutscene. There was nothing. And some people have said the same things. I don't know. It's obviously a bug of some sort. Maybe. Something that does need to be addressed, though. And here's our final star child. And there's our emotes waiting for us. I do believe we got all of them. So we should have a full crew here. Two stances. Bunch of candles. And again, my cutscenes are missing the light. There should be light that I give to the elder in some way. There's a fireworks staff and a drum. My black cape. Is my blue cape there too? Where's my blue cape? There's a green cape there too. My blue cape. Oh, my blue cape's in vault. The next level. Now this cutscene used to take place outside, where we activated the gate. You actually sat there for the cutscene, and which was a little safer because the krill still came out, but you could only activate it by meditating. So if you didn't meditate, you didn't activate the cutscene. Just like this guy. No, the krill followed this scene. That krill scene followed this scene. But you're not seeing what you're supposed to see here because there's no light. There's the spirits going to the sky. And there's the constellation a bit over. So see, the whole level is too dark, but that constellation was too bright. So the contrast, the balance is just wrong. And this little hallway is new. This didn't used to be. You just drop directly into vault. It's just a little hallway, and then we drop into vault. And this is the vault social area or rest area. And there's already a star, but we will wait to collect that until we're in vault proper. Next video.